What's going on, folks? This is the Not Regular Black Man podcast, episode 1. Wanted to talk about some things that I don't see a lot of other people talking about on YouTube or what have you. Hear a lot of jail stories and whatnot, but you don't hear a lot of people talking about expungements and how to get these things off of your record if you can. I want to talk about expungements in the state of Maryland, which is where I reside. I have a little bit of information on how to do it and do it successfully. I've done it myself with several charges that I've had, misdemeanor charges from the past years ago. Let you know exactly what to do, everything that needs to be done. I have a little bit of information on DC that I think I'll share in here and maybe on another podcast. Don't know too much about Virginia. Have to do some looking up on that. That's a Commonwealth, so they have their own kind of laws on what they have to do. So without further ado, just want to talk about how you may get some things expunged off of your record. Now, first off, people may say like, oh, you got something expunged off your record, it's still there, and so on and so forth, right? But the actual truth of the matter is the only people who can see your record after it's expunged would be the FBI database, FJIS or something like that, and security personnel is what they say. So I'm assuming maybe police can see it, but they're not supposed to question you about it or say anything about it. Maybe a government agency background check, a top secret or something, or if you got in trouble, a murder or something, something big, they can, check that and look it up and see us in there. But just regular background checks, it cannot be seen. For example, when you do this, you can test it out by applying to like little things like Uber Eats or something like that. And they use the checker thing, and you can see like in about 24, 48 hours to see if anything comes back. And you'll see if it's off your record or not. So in Maryland, there is a list of misdemeanors that you can get expunged. Oh, also, by the way, I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a law degree or anything like that. I do something totally different. But like I said, these are things that I've done personally, and it works. So there is a list of misdemeanors in Maryland that you can get, expunged. I'm reading from the list on Westlaw and also the list on the Maryland website as well, the actual article. But misdemeanor that is a violation of the alcoholic beverage article. I just want to read things that's relevant to what I'm talking about. Let's see, criminal law. An attempt, a conspiracy, or solicitation of any offense listed in the subsection. Okay, this doesn't show everything. Okay. So, guilty verdict. Well, first of all, you already know that if you were charged with something and if the charge was dropped or if it was a nolle proce, then you can get that expunged at any time. And here's a little trick. Even if you get the case nollied, they say you're supposed to wait like 3 years in order for it to be expunged. But Maryland has something called a waiver form that releases them of responsibility in case you want to go back and sue them for anything, where you don't have to wait 3 years. You can fill out the expungement motion form and you can fill out the waiver form and send it in, and it can be expunged before the 3 years. But if you have a guilty verdict, it says urination or defecation in a public place, panhandling or solicitation or soliciting money, drinking alcoholic beverage in a public place, obstruction, the free passage of another in a public place or a public conveyance, sleeping on or in public structures such as benches or doorways, loitering, vagrancy, riding a transit vehicle without paying the applicable fee, or exhibiting proof of payment, or certain other transportation charges. Uh, if you are found guilty of one of these charges, you may request an expungement no less than 10 years after the guilty conviction or the satisfactory completion of the sentence, including probation, whichever is later. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that everything online that I'm reading isn't necessarily true. It's not necessarily fact. Some things may have changed. Some things may not have changed. But I'm going to tell you my situation in a minute. But a lot of these things you can get expunged that are not on here. No less than 10 years after the guilty conviction. Disorderly conduct, possession of a controlled dangerous substance, use or possession of drug paraphernalia, unauthorized manufacturing, distribution, or dispensing of a CDS, which is actually a felony that you can get expunged, that I was going to talk about also. Breaking and entering a motor vehicle, general theft, littering, and illegal dumping, or disturbing the peace and disorderly conduct. If you are found guilty, it says no less than 15 years of this. Assault in the second degree, violation of an interim peace order, failure to comply with the protective order, felony theft, possession with intent to distribute or dispense a controlled dangerous substance, or burglary in the first, second, or third degree. That actually may cover a lot, but exceptions. There are situations where you cannot file for expungement. If you received a PBJ and you were later convicted of a new crime within 3 years of the PBJ, you cannot get the PBJ case expunged. However, if the new conviction was for the minor traffic violation or for an action that is no longer a crime, the new conviction will now prevent you from getting the PBJ expunged. So let me put a lot of this into layman's terms for you guys because that sounds really stupid. So let's just say, for one, they're talking about traffic issues. Let's just say you have a DUI and you got a PBJ with it. Now, a PBJ isn't a conviction. So if it comes up on, if they run a traffic thing on you or a background check, the DUI is not going to come up because it's not a conviction. But you cannot get it expunged in Maryland. They just made that a law. I don't know why you can't get it expunged, but you cannot get it expunged in Maryland. There are ways, there are motions that you can put in to give you a chance to try to get it expunged. So basically, everything has a chance of getting expunged. And there's also the pardon route also. Where you can write the governor, get a packet, and all that other stuff. But that takes years, and there's no guarantee that it'll actually happen. So, a little bit about my situation. I went to Canada about a year ago, and I was almost denied entry in when the Border Patrol pulled me over and they showed me this record, something I had on my record that I had no idea was on there from back in 2005, 2006. Come to find out, my name was spelled wrong, so I didn't know that it was actually on there. So when I looked it up online, I would never see it. So I don't know. That may have caused me to not get certain jobs or what have you. I don't know, but that sparked my investigation and sparked me to start doing expungements and stuff like that. So first off, in my situation, that's where I found out about the waiver form because these guys spelled my name incorrectly. So who knows what's been happening throughout my life since 2006. You know, if people have been running background checks on me and I haven't gotten something or gotten a clearance or something like that because of this charge. So even though it was in 2006, way over 10, 15 years ago, I was able to get it expunged with no problem, but they needed me to fill out the waiver form. Either they wanted me to fill out the waiver form or I just filled out the waiver form and sent it in, but either way, it got expunged. And before quarantine, I was going to the courthouse and I asked the lawyer about something on the waiver form. And that's when a lawyer explained to me what the waiver form was. And it's basically releasing Maryland from any responsibility in case you want to sue them or anything like that. So before you do get something expunged, you need to look at it first and make sure you want to get it expunged, or if you want to take these guys to court or something like that, then you probably don't want to get it expunged. Um, my son, his senior year in high school, he got arrested beach week, his senior trip at the beach, acting stupid, so on and so forth. So I got him a lawyer. The lawyer got him off of the charge, and the lawyer told me, "Well, if you want me to get the charge expunged, go ahead and charge me $250." Now, I know from experience, expungement isn't $250, but this may help people. Hopefully, this is what I'm doing it for. Hopefully, to help people out. But the motion form to fill out an expungement, if it's guilty, costs $30. And in most cases, that's one form that you fill out and maybe the waiver form, depending on how long ago, you did the crime. Uh, so the waiver form, once again, is something that you may want to take a look at first. So if you were found not guilty, then it's just one form, one motion form, and you can send that in for free and get that done. Now, the actual motion for the expungement is actually pretty simple. So you're paying somebody $250 to basically fill out uh, a couple of questions on a piece of paper. The only thing you have to do is go on the Maryland Judiciary Case Search and look up your case and just get the case number and, the county and the police organization that locked you up and the dates and the times. You know what I'm saying? Just little stuff. And this is what you're paying people $200 and $300 for. You know what I'm saying? So that could be beneficial, hopefully, to someone. Now, I wanted to talk about the felonies that you can get done because there's actually a list of 100 misdemeanors for Maryland that you can get expunged, but I'm not seeing it right now online. Maybe I'll put the link in the description or something whenever I find it, or if somebody else can find it, maybe put the description in the link. I'll put a link in the description. But the biggest thing that I saw was the possession and intent to distribute. Now, that's something that a lot of black men were definitely going to jail for. I've even gotten locked up for possession of a CDS back in the day. I had intent to distribute, but they just dropped it down to possession. But that's also something that it needs to be a conversation as well. As when we were kids, just growing up, and these grown adult cops were just basically harassing us when all we were doing was trying to smoke weed. Yeah, of course, smoking weed was illegal at the time, but we were just having fun. And these police records, the beginnings of these police records, these marijuana charges started people on their criminal careers. And that's something that nobody is really taking responsibility for, um, or anything. So here in Maryland, they have the weed decriminalization. Weed is legit in DC, and they just did that in Virginia. But they're kind of tricky with these expungements with the weed. So uh, you can expunge a marijuana charge, of course, that I believe is under an ounce or under 2 ounces, one of the two. Like if you got a dub bag or something like that, you can get it expunged, no problem. Depends on the weight. Years ago, I tried to expunge a weed charge that I had. It was a weight charge, like an ounce or something like that, over an ounce. And I didn't have the ounce. I was driving the car. A friend of mine had the ounce. Put it under the seat. You already know what happens with that. Everybody in the car gets charged. Nobody wants to say it's theirs. And these guys are your friends, though. You know what I'm saying? So I get charged, and basically, when I tried to expunge it years ago, before we got decriminalized, and I hadn't gotten in trouble in years, the guy had said I had gotten in trouble afterwards. And ironically, it's the case that they spelled my name wrong, so I had probably forgotten about it, and I didn't even pursue it or say anything at the time. I was probably so upset. But that is what happened, and they denied me, uh, to expunge it. So fast forward to last year, it's been about 10 years, 15 years, whatever. I go ahead and put in for the expungement off of the basis that it's just been over the time limit, and I'm not on probation, and I'm not on, any indictments or anything like that. So long story short, it got expunged. Um, and I've also put in for an expungement when we got decriminalized as well, and they denied me because they said that the amount was too much. So overall, I ultimately won because of the time limit. So you may have a charge that can be expunged just strictly because you haven't gotten in trouble in so long. And if it's a misdemeanor. And like I explained, there's not a lot of felonies that can be expunged at all. It's a very small list. Um, and I guess rightly so. I don't know. Um, I've never committed a felony act or anything of that nature. But one thing you can do to look up your record is go on the Maryland Judiciary website, go on the court cases, and just look up your name. You can do it by criminal cases, traffic cases, civil cases, whatever. And anything that's on that website, you can basically get it expunged if it's eligible, except civil disputes. Civil disputes, from my understanding, you have to after you get it paid off, what have you. I think the actual company or the person or whatever has to write in or to tell them that it's. I don't know. It's very weird. The civil case I have to dig into is very weird because why would somebody that put a case against you right into the court and say, hey, it's satisfied, when it already says satisfied on the website? You see what I'm saying? One thing that really blew my mind was that I didn't know that you can expunge traffic cases as well, like driving on suspended, uh, you know, uh, driving on a suspended registration, failure, due registration, that type of thing. Um, Even guilty traffic violations, you can get expunged if it's past the time limit. But there's one trick with the traffic tickets, and that would be if there's a fine attached to the traffic ticket, then you cannot get it expunged, which is so stupid. I'm going through an issue right now with a traffic ticket I have from 2017 where it's driving on a suspended and it got nollied, which means it got dropped. And it's a $150 fine. So underneath that, under the disposition, it says that it was nollied and the fine is nothing. But when I put in for the expungement, they said it can't be expunged because of the fine attached. So I put in a motion asking the judge to, remove the fine and whatnot. And they called me from chamber, so I should get a response next month. I mean, next week. And that's another thing that us as a people, we don't really know too much, is that we can put in motions anytime we feel like it. And motions are free as shit. You know what I'm saying? Uh, the best example of this would be bill collectors, civil motions. Like when you get your wages garnished, that's a company uh, that already has a case against you in court, and they've put in a motion to do that. And you'll get the paperwork. Maybe you'll get the paperwork. Maybe you won't get the paperwork. Things are really shisty out here. But if you get the paperwork, and if you don't go to court, you'll get the wage garnished. And if you don't reply, then they'll put in another motion to go ahead and do something else, whatever they feel like or whatever they want to do. So this is how we're getting railroaded in the judicial system, the civil system, is because we don't know that we can put in motions for anything. So if somebody puts in a motion for you to a wage garnishment, or somebody won a judgment against you or something like that, shit, put in a motion to the judge and say, look, I didn't get the paperwork. I need, uh, a trial. Um, you know, I never got any paperwork for this garnishment motion and whatnot, because the only thing that the judge can do is say yes or no. You see what I'm saying? Like you can't get in trouble for a civil issue by putting in a motion. A motion is your right as an American, as a Maryland citizen. And I'm talking about for all counties here. This isn't just PG County or Montgomery County or Anne Arundel County or anything like that. But hopefully this is something, that'll help out a couple of people. If you have any questions, also, let me know as well. Personally, I've expunged about maybe 6 or 7 things off of my record, both guilty and nollie pros. Also, one thing I want to make clear is that uh, if you're putting in for these expungements, any kind of expungement or any kind of motion, uh, you cannot be on probation, parole. You have to have served your time. You can't have any upcoming charges. You can't be on any indictment. You have to be a free man out here off of papers. You can't be dealing with any kind of court situation or have any kind of probation officer and any parole officer. And you have to have been like that for at least 3 years. In case of the Nale Pras, then no, you just probably put in a waiver form, something like that. So, sitting here looking at my little notes to see if I've missed anything. Like I said, this is the first episode of the Not Regular Black Man podcast. I see so many people on YouTube talking about jail experiences, Rikers experiences, gangs, and being slashed, and so on and so forth. And I just think that it's pretty negative, and nobody is really trying to help people coming out of jail or people who are not in jail to try to get ahead. And one way to try to get ahead, if you have a criminal past, would be to try to get these expungements. Also, if you can get something expunged, there's also something called shielding. And that also brings up another point. What I'm saying is that when you think that there's no hope for something, when you just sit there and say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that because I have a charge or I'm a criminal or so on and so forth, I've found out that in this legal system, there's ways that you can do just about anything. So there's no way, shape, or form that you should give up out here if you think that your criminal past is something that's holding you back. I'm not for the gangs. I don't think it's positive at all. But I do understand and recognize that there is a gang culture that derives from jail, and we all need some type of help in jail. I'm hoping to give you guys a jail story that I have in an upcoming podcast because I wasn't a slasher. I didn't get in any fights. I didn't get beat up. I did about 15, 20 days in jail, not prison. So, just a different perspective from a different way of life, I guess, if you guys want to hear it. So that's basically the reason why I'm doing this. And I just say Not Regular Black Man podcast because it just seems like the direction that things are going out here is a negative way. When you see people that are, a little bit positive, trying to bring some light, but it just may come across in a not serious type of way or to a different audience that's not really getting or retaining the information. I don't know what audience this is going to go to. But hopefully I can reach the youth and adults, because adults, we need help out here also. And if the adults get help, then the youth can go the correct path that they're supposed to go. Because from what I'm seeing, like a lot of this gang activity and a lot of stuff that's going on is being directed, is being manifested, is being originated by OGs who are in their 40s and above. I'm in my 40s. I'm 42. So I don't necessarily know how these guys are coming out of jail and saying that they want to help the youth. But anyway, this was just the first episode of the Not Regular Black Male Man podcast. Going to try to upload this on SoundCloud, be on YouTube. Maybe I'll make an Instagram, page or something like that. Maybe get a host or something, or maybe have a guest or whatever. I don't know, but please, in the comments, let me know if you guys found this informative, if you like hopefully start doing this on a regular basis. Oh, till next time.